Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost, and on this channel we're talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse so that we can heal for good and manifest our best lives, right? That's what I do with people. So I want to deal with this question today. Are narcissists born narcissists, right? Which is a question it's quite good to look at. And I'm going to give you my perspective, which is always to look at the spiritual aspect. So, of course, a young baby or an infant doesn't necessarily, in its own, in just the physical world, like a young baby can't make that kind of decision, right? But narcissism is a spiritual choice and a spiritual sickness. And so, yes, they can choose to soul detach young, right? You are spiritual and human, which means you're making spiritual choices as well as like conscious human choices, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. So it's totally possible for a child to go dark. Absolutely. And narcissism is a spiritual choice where they choose to detach from their soul. They are not in a human blackout. They are possessed, but they're not unconsciously possessed. They choose to be possessed, right? So they open themselves up and they plug into an entity of consciousness that we're calling narcissism, which is why they all act in the exact same ways. It's a spiritual sickness and a spiritual choice, and they can make that very young. Totally possible. I'd say with my brother, definitely at age 7. I can remember him sitting me down at age 7 and saying, you're the good angel, I'm the bad angel, and the problem with you, Ellie, is that you've got a conscience and I don't. He started doing very destructive things at school, like burning down the girls' playhouse and just really playing up. But he'd made a spiritual choice, right? So on the level of beingness, you can choose to become a narcissist extremely young, right? And people always try and put this correlation between trauma and becoming a narcissist, but that's not proven, right? There's no statistics to say that trauma causes narcissism. In fact, everyone here has generally been through a lot of trauma. I have, and I didn't turn into a narcissist. So although it is possible that trauma could cause you to decide to go dark, it's still a decision. And I want you to really know this, because when people are talking about narcissism like it's just some personality disorder, they're missing the point, right? That a narcissist knows what they're doing, they know it hurts you, they intend to trauma bond you, and they intend to traumatize and destroy and hurt you. They know what they're doing, these guys, right? And like, if they didn't get supply, they don't shrivel up and die. What would happen is they would be forced into a spiritual awakening. So the more people that wake up to what narcissism really is as a spiritual sickness and a spiritual choice, right, the better. Because the less supply we give them, the more we starve them of supply, the more that they would be forced to reattach to their souls and actually have to reflect on their life. Because a narcissist will take no accountability, no responsibility, and they've detached from their soul. Right? Do they still have a soul? Yes. Yes, they do, but they're completely detached and they try and disconnect you from yours so that you don't know who you are anymore and you make choices that you regret, right? That just erode your self-esteem. That could be like in reactive abuse, that take you away from your values, your essence, your authentic truth and power, right? So I don't personally, and like, again, it's like a traumatic event could happen to any of us and we still have that spiritual choice to take it out on the world and be angry and be, narcissistic, or we can choose to use it in order to heal, evolve and grow. So people here are generally choosing to heal, evolve and grow. Narcissists are choosing to become better at being a narcissist, right? More manipulative, more controlling, more power over people. That's what they get off on: power, domination and control, right? Whereas most of the people here, I can imagine, get off on connection, unity, growth, helping others, being of service, right? The narcissist doesn't care about those things. They just care about exploiting people to get what they want, right? It's a very like me mentality. What they want is more important than what anyone wants. I teach people all the time that, like, to make a decision, like, I think about what's good for me, what's good for you, and what's good for us as a collective as a whole, good for the world as a whole. And if it's 3 yeses, then it's a good course of action. Good for me, good for you, good for the whole. Now, that can include disengaging from narcissists, because it's not good for me to allow myself to be abused. It's not good for a narcissist to be enabled in exploiting me, and it's not good for the collective to believe that this is the only option, that you have to live under the abuse of narcissists. We don't, right? And we're having a collective awakening at the moment where more and more people are aware of this subject. But if we keep treating it like it's just a personality disorder, something beyond their control that they just can't help, that is missing the point. It's a spiritual sickness. Now, if you're in any doubt about this, one, their sequence of behavior is the exact same. They all do the love bomb, the hoover, the devalue, the discard and repeat. Two, they know, so for the flying monkeys and enablers, they know how to project the illusion of who they want those people to believe they are, right? You were under the spell of the narcissist at one point. I definitely was, right? So when you're under the illusion, the projected, it's basically a spell that they put on you, the person that they, some in the love bombing stages pretend to be, right? Or the person that they, during the trauma bond, they keep like, you know, going back to that idealization stage, back to the person that you want them to be in fleeting moments, right? To keep you on the hook, to keep you invested in the relationship. You have to bear in mind, they can turn their behavior on and off, and they do all the time. When the narcissist takes their mask off and is the abuser, that's the real them for sure. But you can see how manipulative they are, because at certain points, they know how to behave. They know what will please you. They choose not to do it. Right? Were they born that way? They've made a spiritual choice at some time, at some point, right? In their evolution, at some point, they've made a spiritual choice. They know what good behavior is. They know how to turn it on in front of people. They know how to turn it off. They know what abuse is. They know it hurts you. They do it on purpose to traumatize you and trauma bond you and get a power hit from it. That's the truth about narcissism. So I hope you like this video. Please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. Thank you for being here. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.